There you are, welcome to a Space Marine defensive line that's about to be ambushed by a gigantic swarm of zombies. However, the Space Marines are not alone today. They're going to be joined by the Cadians and Kriegers as they try to hold this narrow path against the encroaching swarm. So let's find out then, can the Space Marines, the Cadians and the Kriegers hold out against the encroaching waves? Of course, there's only one way to find out. Then, ladies and gentlemen, kicking off today's battle. So there's only about 36,000 defenders here, but roughly about 1,200 of them are Space Marines, so they should be holding out pretty nicely. Again, we've got the Cadians here with their lapse rifles, and so there should be, even though the zombies have got the upper hand here of ambushing the Imperials and the Space Marines, this should definitely be a hard fight for them. A lot of the time they're going to get funneled into this narrow area. You can see a few of them here trying to go for the scouting forces along the cliff edges. But the main bulk of the zombies is going to try and filter its way down into the narrow valley here. Now, a lot of the Space Marines are currently set to holding their position. Their group here, their goal, is to not let any zombies pass them whatsoever. They cannot afford to lose this vital connection to one of their front lines here. At the moment, though, the zombies are just pouring on top of them. The shovels are working their way forward under the cover of that heavy lapse fire. Oh my days, look at the lapse fire here. It's just scraping across the top of the cliff face and annihilating the zombies. Oh my god, there's so many. Look at them pouring down here. A literal cascading waterfall of zombie corpses now filtering their way down the side of the cliff face. So we're going to get a similar thing happening over this side, I wonder. Let's go over here quickly, because the zombies are definitely trying to push around this location. Now, there is actually a gap in the back over here. There you go. So there is a couple of places where the zombies can come from the rear, should they get the forces around there. But it looks like the lapse fire is definitely trying to hinder that at the moment. Look at this already. The mountains of corpses that are littering the valley floor here. Oh my god, so many zombies are coming down. We're at 86,000 kills already for the defender. Let's go back to our front line here. The Kriegers are holding out really nicely at the moment. The numbers are not setting 1 foot past them. And a defilade of corpses is slowly starting to appear. They're actually almost getting outflanked, but look at this. The Kriegers are plugging that gap wonderfully here. Again, the stream of corpses that are just rolling down the side of the cliff face. On both sides now, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Oh, it's a glorious sight to see. Does look like, though, that we're starting to get some of them zombies now pushing around the rear end. The Kriegers have already formed a defensive line here, though, to try and plug that gap. I don't know if there's any on the other side, actually. By the way, this is a new map that I've been working on. Nothing special, it's just a load of terrain with a few interesting features in it. I thought it'd be cool to just have a nice, a flat terrain map. Not a flat terrain map, but, you know, more of a hilly terrain map to do some battles on. So yeah, we'll probably use this one quite a bit in the future. It's got a couple of nice gullyways in it, lots of rolling hills, a couple of mountain summits as well to fight over, lots of little gullies and navigational hills as well. So yeah, it should be quite an interesting map for a couple of future maps here. I should be releasing this one as well on the Steam Workshop soon. I recently released that test map as well, so you guys will have to let me know what you think of that. Look at this though, the zombies have broken through our Krieger line now and are directly assaulting it. The Cadian forces are directly behind them. Though that last fire is intense, the zombie hordes are getting massively thinned out, but still, every now and then, 1 or 2 are getting to the front line, dealing that little bit of damage. It's incremental knocks like that, which are gonna really start to take its toll on the Cadian forces here. That we still have plenty of Kriegers in the background, and don't get me wrong, we've got our Space Marines with the bolt rifles too. Them explosive rounds are just going to be dealing so much AoE in this battle. I mean, the last guns are doing absolutely monumental work here too. Let's just have a look. Can they, are they? That's the sentence we're getting for you. Yeah, so there is a gap that they can come down at this side on here. So yeah, they can actually get round to the back of this valley at the moment. Kriegers, though, still holding that line firm. The shovels are going to town. There's a party and all the zombies have been invited. Unfortunately, though, the ticket is a shovel to the face. So, you know, that's the admission fee here. Oh my god, look at all this. It's been a long time since I've seen corpse waterfalls like this. I love this effect that it's having on the valley as well. Just down here, it's just piling up bodies either side of it. It looks so cool. Look at all them though now. We're really starting to pile up the bodies. My worry is, though, is that, yeah, look at all that. All the Cadians at the front now have been wiped out. We're down to the Space Marine line. And let's face it, these boys are going to be able to hold for quite a while. They are Assault Marines after all. There's around about 1,000 of them here. So they should be able to form a decent blockade against all the zombies that are going to be funneling into this area. And there is quite a few of them. Oh my god. Look, you can see where all the straight lapse fire has been hitting on the floor over here and still taking out zombies. That looks so pretty though, having all them lasers firing up at the cliff faces either side of them. As the zombies try to pour around the gap here. I mean, I don't know why all the zombies are actually up here. I mean, eventually what is going to happen is, if we carry on this, is either the troops in the center are going to drown. They are set to guard mode, so they can all move down here. So hopefully they'll move out of the blood. But yeah, I think we're eventually just going to start filling in the valley. That'd be really awesome if we can do that. I don't know if we'll be able to do that with 2 million zombies, but maybe that's a future video here. Just get some units, set them in the center, and have 2 armies attacking, one from that side and one from the other. And see if we can fill up the valley with corpses. That'd be really cool to see. But at the moment, it's turning into this brutal grind for the zombie horde here. They're just slamming themselves against the Space Marine line. And we are starting to actually get a look in at this. It looks like we're starting to get these little pits here where some of the zombies have managed to push a few of the Space Marines back. Either that or a couple of the Space Marines have surged forward. One of the two. Not quite sure what's happening there. Interesting nonetheless. Look at that last fire as well, just coming in, crisscrossing over, providing that cover. A couple of shovels have also moved up to the front. Great support there. Let's go have a look at the rear lines though. How are we getting on over this side? Oh my god. Oh, look at this. That is so cool. I really like how that looks. We're starting to get little goo lakes forming all over the place now. Look at it. Still an absolutely fine, solid line here by the Kriegers. Oh no, we've got a little breach in it. Just as I'd say it was a fine, solid line, a breach appears. Looks like the zombies are actually starting to get a little bit of the upper hand here. The Kriegers were trying to hold the upper plateau, but they've been pushed back to this tiny area. It might actually be better if they just gave up this ground and consolidated their forces back there, where they've actually got a bit of firepower. Because it looks like the zombies will still be forced into a little funnel. So what the Kriegers are actually doing here is kind of folly. They should just let the attackers come into the kill zone that they've already got set up. Because all this firepower over here, that's diverted to the cliff faces. I'm sorry, I can't get over how many corpses are all piling up at the bottom of these. But yeah, all this firepower that's diverted at the cliff faces could be used to be funneled down and help these guys out here. And it looks like they're going to have very little choice in the matter soon. The zombies are now breaking through, surging down into the rear lines of the Imperials. Now, we've only got a couple of Kriegers now who are able to come up and bring up that defense. You can see all the last guns, though, suddenly no longer focusing on the top of the cliff faces, realizing that the rear lines have fallen. The Kriegers have fallen at the post. And that swarm is quite significant. We've got a lot of last fire over here that we cannot afford to lose. And these Kriegers, unfortunately, they're not the best in melee combat. They've got a lot of firepower when it comes to their last gun, but yeah, ultimately, when it comes to the melee stuff here, they're not that good. The zombies should be able to easily overwhelm just them alone. I mean, we saw what happened to the front row in front of the Space Marines. And look at this, okay. So we're starting to get a bit more of a heavy Krieger presence now, but I don't see many Krieger reinforcements coming in at all. So we are going to be largely relying on this last fire to try and hold this position. Come on, guys, start consolidating. What, we got 16,000 troops remaining. This is a tall order now. We've still got loads of firepower in the front here. And again, that front line absolutely solidly holding it. Oh my God, look at the body pile. I've only just noticed this. It's gigantic here already. The Space Marines really putting in that work, and we've got a little bit of a Krieger countercharge going on over here, led by a Space Marine, of course. Oh, look at that side. So this side is largely static. Look how fast this side is flowing. That's a weird thing to see. Kind of cool, though. I'm a little bit worried that the body piles on either side of the walls now are starting to build up. Soon they're going to be compatible areas. There's only 1.2 million Nomas left on the field here, though. With 16,000 dead Imperials. How's the rear line holding? Well, it's doing exactly that. It's holding. The zombies are making grounds here. We do keep getting this little countercharge of Kriegers coming out, which is excellent, but I'm really worried. Look at how many last guns are in this one position here. And the zombies are forcing their way into this now. How many reinforcements? Oh, God, yeah, there's loads of reinforcements for the zombies coming this way. Guys, we need to consolidate back up. Get out of there while you still can, guys. Don't try to hold the line like the brave souls you are. Okay, yeah, look, the blood has really started to take effect in the center now. How deep is this? Oh, it's deep enough for little Timmy to get out his rubber dinghy and enjoy fun for the entire family. But the worry is that the Imperials might be at risk of drowning a little bit here. There's not much room to maneuver. They are all packed in here like sardines right now. Maybe all piling up all these corpses is a good thing then. It's giving them somewhere to stand that isn't a gulag. Just look at that field though. I love that. But you can see, look at the difference now. Oh, I was going to say, they're not shooting at the ridge anymore. That's because there's not really any more troops up there for them to shoot at. They're down on the valley floor itself. It has now become a target-rich environment down here as thousands of zombies pour into the rear. I'm a little bit worried about that gulag as well. Front line absolutely holding perfectly. The Kriegers forming a solid wall here with the Space Marines. Look at that, they're actually pushing out now. That's kind of ridiculous, guys. What are you playing at? There's still a million zombies left, though. Yeah, look at that. There's still a massive amount of them all out here, waiting for their turn to get in. And I'm a little bit worried that there's probably a good, what, 200, 300,000 at the rear here, still making their way down. If we can hold this rear line, we've got a really good chance of actually surviving this, I reckon. The concentrated firepower at the front might be enough, as long as we don't build up the corpses to be able to get to the top of the roof cliffs. That's a new one. To the top of the cliffs here, because that'll just create a new pathable flank for the zombies, and that'll just open up a whole new can of worms for the Imperial defenders. At the moment, though, the natural defense playing right in to the Imperials' hand, funneling the zombie hordes down into this concentrated last fire. And you can see now that the defenders are getting a bit more back-to-back here as the zombies are pushed deeper into the defensive line. It's getting tougher and tougher for them to keep on pushing through. But the relentless, sorry, choking on me a bit there. The relentless zombie nature, though, the horde-like nature of the zombies just allows them to pump the reinforcements regardless of the kill ratios that the Imperials are pulling off. A little bit worried as well about the exuberance here of the Kriegers pushing really far out. These guys could have been so useful in the rear defense. Instead, we've got this insane countercharge by the Imperials going on. Who sanctioned this? Have the Kriegers done this themselves? I mean, I can't blame them, to be honest. It must be frustrating as a Krieger to just sit there with your shovel, hoping that the zombies come to you. Far better to take the fight to the enemy. At least you know what's going on then. It's the waiting. It's the waiting that kills more than anything. I'm pretty sure there's a quote around there. But yeah, look at this now. Look how close we are to the cliff face here, ladies and gentlemen. Bearing in mind, look how low the valley floor actually is. That is a fair old pile of corpses that we've made. So what we at now? 900,000. Oh my god, look at them still swarming in from the rear. But again, look at this. This last little formation over here has been holding out really well against the waves. They've been struggling to push on through. Now that the concentrated firepower is having an effect on them. That is magnificent stuff. The Space Marines here also building up some wonderful corpse architecture on the front line. But yeah, there we go. The inevitable collapse has happened. The Kriegers have fallen. So what I want to do, hit a little time-lapse camera over here. You know what, actually? It'd be nice. I want to see the body piles that build up, so we'll come from here, and what I can do is I can move the camera forward as the Imperial defense crumbles at the back. It's slowly going to happen, so I'll move the camera forward slowly. But yeah, we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and I can't believe it. The Imperials are actually doing this. They've only got 2,000 units left on the field, but somehow they're still holding out. I mean, somehow, yeah. Okay, there's a bunch of Space Marines on the field here, but if it was just these Space Marines alone, I know in the lore of Warhammer 40k, the Space Marines should have no problem with 2 million zombies, but in this game, the Space Marines would have been overwhelmed very easily by the 2 million zombies. So this last fire has contributed quite significantly here to this force. I mean, look at this. We've still got single dudes all out here by themselves. Oh my god, let's go up a dip in here. I mean, let's face it. Little Timmy has truly been praised on this map here. You know what? So has Brittany, actually. It's just these body piles and goo everywhere. I mean, we did defeat all the flanking zombies that were coming in from behind. And look at how costly this advance was for them. You know what I might do, actually, at the end of this fight here? What I might do is I might beef up this defense a little bit and then just put down like 10 million zombies and do a time-lapse camera and see what happens. See if we can actually fill in the valley floor here. So maybe if I set the camera up somewhere like this, and we can just see if we can actually fill it in with 10 million zombies. It'll be entirely time-lapsed. I'm not going to commentate on that one. I'll probably go AFK and do a few other things while it goes. But I just want to see if we can actually fill this up. But yeah, look at this. We're coming down to the last 190,000 zombies now. And I'm actually kind of starting to think the Imperials might do this, you know. They've been doing a bang-up job up to this point. This line has been holding. But with the last 1,800, I'm worried that the Cadians are getting a little bit too close to the combat line. We've still got plenty of Space Marines holding. But yeah, it's the Cadians that we can't afford to lose. We need that last fire. They're killing thousands of zombies. Like I said, each last round here is basically an insta-kill on a zombie, so it is very powerful. And the more and more zombies that we funnel into the Space Marine line, the better, quite frankly. Because we need these guys to absorb all the damage that they can. But yeah, so what I'm going to do, we're going to time-lapse this last little bit and then I'll set up the 10 million one. And we'll be back in a second. Well then, folks, here we are, the last 15,000 Nomas left on the field. I'm pretty safe to say now, at this point, that the Imperials have this in the bag. I mean, they haven't even got through these guys at the frontier. So, I'm going to go ahead and set up the 10 million battle here. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to wrap this one up here right now because I've got to do something that I haven't done in a very long time. That's leave the house. I know, absolute travesty. So, yeah, we'll wrap this one up here. We'll get our lovely little nuclear bomb ready here. So, yeah, wrap this one up here, and I'll set up the 10 million one, and we'll enjoy that time lapse. And until next time, folks, I do hope you had a blast. I know I did. Please do comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and enjoy the time lapse.